right, so we are continuing to write equations of quadratics. Today we're going to look at a set of data and determine if it really is quadratic or maybe it's something else. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at this data right in front of you in that first example. You see that data? And we're going to do what's called finding finite differences. Finite differences. Finite differences is what we're going to do. And to find finite differences, what you're going to do is you're going to take the y values and you are going to say, from 9 to 4, do I add or subtract and how much? Subtract 5. From 4 to 1, what do I do? Subtract 3. From 1 to 0, subtract 1. 0 to 1, add 1. 1 to 4, add 3. 4 to 9, add 5. So that's finding the finite differences. This would be called the first difference. And if they were constant, if they were all the same number, if, they're not, but if they were the same number, if constant, then we would say that this data is linear. Like y equals x with some numbers in it. Remember what shape linear makes? A line, right. But this is not linear because the first differences are not constant. So we do another set of differences. We do the differences this time from the differences. So -5 to -3, what are we doing? We are adding 2, right. Be careful with those negatives. -3 to -1, you're adding 2. -1 to 1, adding 2. 1 to 3, 2. 3 to 5, plus 2. So those are the second differences. So the second differences are constant. It is, it is quadratic, which is the x squared kind that we've been doing this whole chapter. Now these were pretty easy to kind of say if you're adding or subtracting in your head. If you do want to use your calculator with the ones that are coming up with bigger numbers, if you take the second number and you subtract the first number, that will give you the difference with the correct sign also. So you see that next section? We're gonna go through, we're gonna determine what type of function you can use to model the data, and then we're gonna say why we think it's that particular kind of function. So if you want to use your calculator, I hope you don't need it for this first one, but if you wanted to use your calculator, you'd type in -5 minus -8. So I'm doing the second one minus the first one. And then what does that tell me? What are we doing? Positive or negative? Anybody try it? You're adding 3. Okay, take a moment and find the differences. And then if you know what kind of function it is, say what kind of function it is and say why. And try the next one. So you're doing these, and we get +3, +3, +3, +3, +3. What does that tell me? What kind of function is this one, Blessy? Yeah, good.
Linear.
Linear? Why?
The first difference
spelled that wrong. Constant. So you guys are working on the second one. So I went through and I found my first differences. And was it constant? No. So then we go and we do a second round. If you get 3 of them in a row, probably is going to continue the pattern. Was this constant for the second finite difference? So what kind of function is this one? Quadratic. Because the second finite differences are constant. So once you have that one, try the third one. Done. Yes, but all right, can you guys help me out? Who's got these? I want to do what I was talking about. Did you find the second differences? Mm-hmm. Okay. No, these are right, because I remember doing them before, but you might need to find the second ones before you can tell me they're constant. All right, who's got the second ones on their paper? Anybody yet? Or have I caught up to you? You have the second ones? Yep, you do. You go. Something's wrong here. You have a number wrong. You're 20. Actually, be 28. It's just one number. This one right here, so it should be 56. But I'm gonna write the rest of them down. But I know that one's not right. Oh. All right, so are the second finite differences constant? Are they constant, the second ones? So what does that tell you? What does it not tell you? It's not linear and it's not quadratic. So it's what? None? Neither? Yeah. Well, it's none of the ones that we did today. Did everybody try a third one? I mean, don't stop. Why stop when you're having so much fun? You did it. Excellent, Duncan. So if you tried a third one, how do you get from 48 to 24?
Minus 24. Add 24.
Do I have it wrong?
Thanks.
I skip one?
24.
No.
Between 0 and 3.
Hold on.
Plus 24 is 0.
Right in here?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
And it's minus 48, minus 24 for the first one.
that's what's wrong. Okay. Did you have minuses on yours? I just didn't copy them. Okay. All right, so now let's try it. So now we add 24, right? And then we add 24, and then we, ooh, add 24. Ooh, add 24. Man, there's a pattern here. So it's not the first, it's not the second, but the third finite difference is that worked. What do you think that means? I didn't tell you yet. What kind of equation is it? Take a guess. Take a risk. What happens if you say the wrong thing? Shamed for life, right? Well, what was it when it was the first? What was it when it was the first finite difference? So it was x to the first. What was it when it was the second finite differences? Quadratic. It was x to the second. What do you think it is when it's the third finite difference? 3? No. But thank you for taking a guess. Thank you for saying something. Cubed. It's called cubic. I don't know if we talked about cubics yet. Cubic? But that's okay. We're not going to do cubic. I thought I'd throw it in there so you can see that this pattern does continue. And it correlates to the exponent that we have on the variable in the equation. Okay. Now, we're going to use our graphing calculator. Whoop, whoop. Your favorite part? I had some people write that down when you answered that one question on the test. So the graphing calculator stuff was their favorite stuff so far? Calculator stuff, the brain breaks, and the 3-variable system. 3 way different minds answered those questions. Okay, so we're going to do statistics, and we've done this before. So we have to enter in some information. Yeah. All right. Back to the notes. We're going to go to stat. Remember stat? And then how do we enter stuff in? Edit. been a while. And then if you want to clear the whole column, you go up to the L1 or L2 and you hit clear, enter. That's how you clear it all out. You use the word clear and enter. And then we are typing in the fuel efficiencies of a vehicle at different speeds. So go ahead and type in your X's and your Y's. Got some wonderful graphing calculators stuff to show you today. Good things to know. Oh no. I miscounted on something. There it is. Once you get your stuff typed in, go to y equals and make sure there's nothing typed in y equals. Make sure everything's cleared out of y equals. Once you got your stuff typed in, go to y equals and clear anything in there out. And I have to go a little slower, so please be patient so that everybody has the opportunity to do this. No matter how slow you are typing in those numbers. So we haven't done statistics plotting, the scatter plot. We haven't done that for a while. So you probably don't have the plot turned on. So to turn it on, you have to do second y equals, and then choose number 1. And turn it on, and make sure everything else looks the same as mine. It's like scatter plot, it's L1, L2, whatever color you want, if you got colors. Just make sure that it's on. If you go back to y equals, you'll see that now it's turned on. And then what we're going to do is we're going to set up our window, so when we graph it, we actually see the points. So go to window, and our miles per hour, looks like they go from 20 to 70. So maybe we go from 0 to 100. Something that covers 20 to 70. But really, it's up to you what you choose. But I'm going to do 0 to 100. And then I'll make my scale 10. And then my Y's go from maybe 10 to 30. And I'll just count by 2s. Once you have all your window information in, go ahead and hit graph and see what shows up. See that scatter plot that shows up. And if you typed in the same window as I did, then it should look a lot like mine. If you typed in your own thing, it might look a little different. When you look at this figure, does it say linear? Does it say quadratic? Or other? What do you think? Does it look like the U shape, the parabola? Yeah. So that means that we are looking at doing a quadratic regression. We've only done linear regression before. Now we're going to do quadratic regression. So let's go over how we do the regression. We go stat. This time we go calculate. And look at our choices. Is there a quadratic regression choice? Yeah, number 5. So once you get quadratic regression, hit enter until it tells you the quadratic regression. What are they called? The A, the B, and the C, the variable, the A, the B, and the C. And we've been writing y equals ax squared plus bx plus c in here a few times. So let's just round to 2 decimals. take these A, B, and C and write them as an equation. I can't have this up and write at the same time, so I got to put the paper back up. We're going to write it as an equation in our notes. I'm just doing 2. I think that's what the online one does, so we'll try to keep it the same. So we'll do negative 0.1x squared plus 1.37x minus 7.14. So write my equation. And then there's another question. It says, use the model to approximate the optimal driving speed. Optimal. What is optimal talking about? Optimal. What do you think? We are going to find the vertex, but what does optimal mean? It means like, what?
The best.
Yeah, the best choice for the, what do you want to have, high miles per gallon or low miles per gallon when you drive a car, when you pay for your gas? You want to have high miles per gallon. So when we talk about optimal speed, to give us the best miles per gallon. So when we look at the graph, if we go back to the graph, we want to find the vertex. We want to find the highest y value. Okay? But to find that, we have to have a line first, or the actual parabola graph. So let's go over how we copy the equation into y equals so we can graph it. Go to y equals. Do you remember how to copy it? So we're y equals first. And then we do vars. And then from vars, you go down to number 5, which says statistics. We go over to EQ and choose regular EQ. And it should put the equation in y equals. Once you have it, hit graph. If you didn't hear my directions, I'm going to repeat them. If you haven't, hit graph. If you didn't hear my directions, I'm repeating them. You go vars, choose number 5, statistics, go over to EQ, and choose number 1, regular EQ. And then hit graph. You don't have the equation, right? Did you do the staff calculate? Do it again. Staff calculate number 5. Now do it again. Go y.
At this time, we need the band that's playing and the cheerleaders that are taking part. Please report the things that come to the gym.
Okay, guys. I got to teach you how to find the vertex. So, to find the vertex, you're going to go second, trace. And we are going to choose, look at these choices right in the middle. Minimum or maximum. Which one's going to give us the vertex of the parabola that's flipped down? Which one's going to give us the vertex? The maximum. So we're going to choose maximum. And this is where you got to pay attention. It says left bound. So you have to choose an x value that is on the left of the vertex. So I counted from 0 to 100, and I counted by 10. So 10, 20, 30, 40. I'm going to choose something that's definitely to the left of this. Does not have to be perfect. So maybe 30. I'm going to type in 30. And when I hit enter, this line comes up. And it says right bound. So I'm going to type in a number that is definitely to the right of this. Definitely 70 is to the right of it. And it gives me 2 arrows and lines. And it says guess. It wants you to pick something in the middle of these 2. So, I don't know, 50? Something in the middle of those 2 lines. If you type it all in correctly, it will tell you the vertex. So our vertex is approximately at 48.46 miles per hour to give us the optimal miles per gallon. So 48.46 would be the answer. compute till 58. So. All right, second try. This one, just all you have to do is make the scatter plot and decide which regression to do. We have to see if it looks like a line or if it looks like a parabola. So go ahead and type the information in. I'm going to do it again up here, but you can go faster than me. So I'm going to go back to Stat and Edit. I'm going to clear this information out by going up and hitting Clear and typing in the new numbers. After you type in your numbers, you need to graph it, so you need to clear out anything that's in y equals, and then set up your window, which I'll do in just a moment, but some of you are ahead of me. So before you graph it, you got to clear out whatever's in y equals and set up your window. So I'm looking at these numbers and I'm thinking my x's are going to go from 0 to 50. And my y's are going to go from 26,000 to 33,000. And I'll just count by 1,000. That's what I chose. You didn't have to choose the same thing. But if you have that hit graph, and try to decide what shape it is. Is it a line or is it a parabola? If it's a line, you would use linear regression. If it's a parabola, you will use quadratic regression. You don't have to graph the equation, you just need to write it down. You don't have to do the bars thing and copy it. I don't think you have your numbers. Because that's not the numbers. I don't think you have your numbers like that. If you're off by like a tiny little bit, it's something, I'm guessing something in your line, you go back to your list and just pull that up. Did you change your code yet? Okay, so these are like, this is like 26,000. Okay, so I'm going to hit graph, and I look and I'm like, ooh, that's definitely a parabola. Right, this looks like a parabola for sure. So I go to Stat, Calculate, Quadratic Regression, number 5, enter, enter. And you see how I have no decimals? It tells me that it's not really even a scatter plot. These are actually perfectly on the parabola. I don't have to round anything. They worked out perfect. So I'll write my equation and go to the next one. Oh, I do want to point something out. Wherever you are, I want to point something out. I remember this happening last year a lot on Big Ideas, and that's where your assignment is tonight, is when they give you different variables, but then you type in like x squared and x, they'll mark it wrong. Because here, my x is actually a t, and my y is an h. So that, I don't want you to like use up all your checks and be like, what's going on? Because you used x instead of t. Make sure you're using the same variable they gave you. And it should be negative 11 t squared plus 700 t plus 21,000. for the equation. And that's all you had to do for that one. So you didn't need to go any further. I'm going to try one more. Okay, let's just do number 6. This one, you are going to find the equation, but then it also says find the charge per ticket to maximize the profit. So we are going to need to graph it and find the vertex at that point too. So try this one. I'm going to say what I'm doing while I'm doing it for the video, or if you need it still, I'm doing it while saying it, but you can work ahead of me. So I'm going to go to Stat, Edit. I'm going to go up and clear my list. And I'm going to type in my new values for X and Y.
This time I need the football team to report directly to the gymnasium. Directly to the gymnasium. Very well, here shortly.
Yeah. The assignment's on big ideas, but I copied the questions on here if you want to like do the differences on the paper. These are but they use okay. All right. So after I have that in, I'm going to set up my window and graph it. Just going to go from 0 to 10,000. Oh. And when I graph it, it looks like a parabola, so I'll do quadratic regression. I'm going to go Stat, calculate quadratic regression number 5, enter, 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 and I'll write down my equation. And it looks like it turned out pretty perfect. If you turn this, if you type this up and right, it should have no decimals. I'm going to write it down. Sorry, can't do both at the same time. I'm looking, this is x and y, so I'll do y equals negative 100 x squared plus 2,000 x minus 1,000. And then we have to figure out the optimal charge per ticket, the best charge per ticket to maximize our profit. So that means that we're going to graph the equation and find the vertex. So we go to y equals, and we copy it by doing vars. Number 5, statistics, over to EQ, regular EQ, graph. And my equation. Does anybody remember how I found my vertex? The thing I'm going over it might be something helpful to jot down, unless you want to watch my video again. Like and subscribe. Just kidding. Joke. I have like 4 subscribers, maybe 3. So, I'm big time. We do second trace, and then you decide if you want a max or a min. So you got to think about, okay, this is a top point, that's a max point. And then you kind of have to know what your scale is so you can choose your left bound. I counted by ones. I went from 0 to 20, so my left bound could be like 5. And then my right bound is somewhere around 15 maybe. It's just got to be to the right of the middle. And then I'm going to guess that it's at 10. I'm just going to guess right in the middle of 5 and 15. Ooh, it is at 10. I guessed right. It doesn't matter if you guess right, but. So my maximum is 10. What does 10 mean for the question? X is 10. What does that mean? X is 10. What's X represent? Sure. Ticket price. So what should I do? I should charge $10 per ticket to maximize my profit. Sounds like something that you'd want to know if you owned a business, how to maximize your profit. Yeah? You own a business someday, you probably want to get the most profit, right? So your assignment, it is on big ideas, but because we have to, like, write, you know, to find those differences on some of them, I copied the questions in your notes. It's not number 7, because that was just extra notes that we're not going to get to. It starts with 24 in your notes. So you could do your assignment on paper and then just input the answers into big ideas when you open it up. But you do need to
Student
submit
staff will
it.
get ready here to come down the pep rally shortly, but a few announcements here before we get started. We'll call you down by class. Seniors will be in the permanent lower level. Please spread out. Juniors in the pull-out lower level. When you're going down to the floor, juniors, do not walk across the floor. Go across the top and come down the other stairs on that side to be seated, or through the top area on that side. And sophomores, you will be on the upper pull-out level. The band's on the right. You will be in the other areas. No one should go on the floor unless you're part of the program. We don't want anybody out there. So please stay in the stands. We want you to cheer like crazy when they're doing what they're doing and have fun. You should go straight to the gym when you go. We don't have time for lockers. We want to get started. So at this time, I want seniors quickly
Do not stop your
sit on the
locker.
permanent bleacher side.
If you leave your stuff here, as soon as I get back, you can get your stuff back. My door will be locked if you leave your stuff. If you want to take it because you're just out afterwards, up to you. But you're not supposed to go to your locker right now, because then we can't get the pep rally started. And by the way, if the pep rally's over before the end of school's over, they'll let you out early, so. Get out there. That'll be nice, right? Okay. So whenever they call you. So do you guys understand why I copied those questions? So you could write on them if you want to. All right. But it really is online. The assignment is. And it's still recording. I should probably stop that.